We are back at Towcester Racecourse for the Star Sports and TRC English Greyhound Derby, and the venue looking absolutely stunning in the beautiful sunshine that we're having at the moment. We are Gone to the Dogs Live, and I am Danny Jackson as always, and this afternoon and this evening in fact joined by Daryl Williams. Daryl, how are you? I'm good, Danny. Looking forward to this. It's round one's, you know, in the book. We know what's happened. There's been a few surprises, not too many I think. We've had a lot of favourites in the first round, but it gets a bit tougher from here on in. It certainly does, and Jason, you'll be roaming around Towcester trying to find your interviewees for this evening.
Yes, I most certainly will, and it's lovely to be back with you. And of course, Daryl, I haven't seen Daryl. I would have been sat next to him for 10 minutes, and look, I've lost my watch already.
Shocking. I saw him hide it, it's in his pocket. We had plenty of action last week, of course, with round one. There was a few shocks, there was a few big scalps taken. I know we're both going to nap Droopy's Aladdin tonight, who beat Proper Heiress. That, for me, was a great buckle. Yeah, and it's how you rate that form, isn't it? So a lot of people said, oh, Proper Heiress gets beaten, you know, can Proper Heiress, is he as good as we think he is? But I'm taking it the other way. I think Droopy's Aladdin was very, very good, and I take nothing away from Proper Heiress, but on that basis, I've got to be with Aladdin tonight. Shade of odds on. Don't want to be much shorter than the 10 to 11, 4 to 5 I think that's around at the moment, Danny, please. To be fair, because we both napped him, he'll be bigger anyway. He will. Soon enough. We also saw a bitch who has done something that not many greyhounds do and win their first round heat for 3 years in a row. Jason, this is unbelievable.
It's incredible, and Faye points is she's a superstar. She'd just point out, for those that don't know, I'm sure most people do, the first year was trained by John Mullins, and then went to Graham Holland, but it is rinse and repeat. If you look back on the first round heats, boy, do they know how to prepare for this round, and yeah, fantastic to see, wonderful.
Now, she's not only a fantastic race bitch, she's also a mum to one puppy. We don't see that very often, just the one. So rare, isn't it? Just to give birth to one pup. But listen, that could be another one superstar ready to go. But interesting enough, she's Graham Holland's only runner tonight. He's got so many through. What did he have? 6 winners last week. Sole runner tonight, so the spotlight for Susie for the Holland team this evening. And she's probably having a well-deserved break, as you can see, with nobody else to play with. Mum gets all of the attention from the puppy, and she's taking it all in her stride. Absolutely delightful scenes to see. That tail has got chewed on quite a lot there by the pup, but she is in the heats this evening. Looking forward to seeing if she can go to the third round once again, because she's always made it through the first one. Right, we've got our outright prices. These are priced up with the sponsors. Star Sports, of course. Bocco's Diamond 7 to 2. Cheap Sandwiches 7 to 1. Proper Heiress 8s. Bombay Pat 10s. Dillardi Dar 11s. Droopy's Plunge 14s, with Lenny's Desire 20s and bigger the remainder. And Dillardi Dar was probably the biggest mover last week. Daryl, has been a little bit of money this week as well. I think it was 12s when we shut the programme last week. I think we spoke about this, didn't we, last Friday? You know, did we all underestimate Dillardi Dar? Was he too big? In my eyes, perhaps he was in hindsight, Jason, going into the first round. Well, yes, and especially after that performance, and we know how adept Liam is at readying them for the big occasion. The other big mover, incidentally, as far as the market was concerned, was Ballinabola Joe. But then, of course, because Ballinabola Joe, I can't remember now, was either 40 or 50 to 1, there was a lot of room to move. So Ballinabola Joe and Dillardi Dar, two big movers. What have we got for you tonight, though? We've got 8 heats of the second round. They start at 7:10, going all the way through until 9:15, and we've got some tasty ones as well. Heat 2 for me tonight is the one that will be, well, it's the mouth-watering clash, I thought, with Dillardi Dar in 2. We've got Lenny's Desire and Ballinabola Joe as well, and in fact we can probably have a look at that race, the 7:28, because the reigning champion looking to go unbeaten in the contest. This will be hopefully a done thing for Dillardi Dar, but Lenny's Desire, very impressive last week, only went 8 spots slower than him. Ballinabola Joe will be coming on late as well, so Dillardi Dar might have a better draw than the other couple, maybe, Daryl. I think that's the key, isn't it? I think that's probably why Dillardi Dar is favourite. They're the 3 fastest heat winners, by the way, all in the same heat. I mean, how about that? That's a great way to get the second round underway, isn't it? It certainly is. And you said while we were off air, Jason, that he's never led in the first bend in the Derby, last year at least.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can't expect this necessarily to be the norm, although we know what La-di-da can do when having to pass dogs, and that can be equally scary. Teddy might be a potential spanner in the works in Trap 1. I'm not sure 100% wants to be in Trap 1. And Balanabola Joe and Lenny's Desire. This is how Greyhound racing works, of course. Shocked many by not going to a middle seed, but going to a wide seed. And now, all of a sudden, it's just the second round and it hasn't even got Trap 6, is in Trap 5.
That's not good luck, is it?
I must admit, I put me off Lenny's Desire last week because I thought, wide seed, is that going to work? And, of course, you know, there was a great winner to be on. But I think Jason and I have got the same opinion, haven't we, on this race?
We have, and I know you saw it, but I saw the man's eyes from about 2 feet away, Pat Buckley, and Pat is not one to, you know, go overboard about greyhounds. And I asked him straight, as you know, have we got a potential Derby winner here with Balanabola Joe? And he's yes. And the look in those eyes, Danny, I wasn't going to disagree with him.
Fair enough, and I know that that's the bet you've had tonight as well, so that was good news for Balanabola Joe, or maybe not with the extra pound on his back. We're going to have a look at heat number 3, the 7:46, which is quite wide open. Dynamic Force is 6-4. I quite liked Hello Diego. I think he's going to be running on late and fast. It's 9-2 Scooby the Boss, 6-1 bar those. We can have a look at Dynamic Force in action last week, and well, it was pretty good.
Yeah, look, he's shown plenty of pace to the bend, hasn't he? He's sort of moved himself across and he's dominated. He's not had a lot of racing, actually, but I think the key here is, the question I suppose is, which Paul Hennessy dog do we like? Because I mean, he's ended up with 3 in the same heat. He could qualify all 3, though, couldn't he? Quite conceivably. Yeah,
I think he could. I don't think he's going to go home empty-handed with this race anyway, Jason.
Well, I hope not, because this is actually my nap of the night. Dynamic Force. They say opposites attract, and he's determined, talented and quick. Everything that I'm not. But I was just so impressed with that performance. You get that inkling, don't you, when you see dogs and you think, that's a toaster dog.
Yeah.
And Paul's better than anyone at knowing what's a toaster dog, what's a Shelbourne dog, and I was ultra impressed.
OK, so Hello Diego, I was quite impressed by last week. I think he might just be the fly in the ointment later on, just because he's so powerful in a finish, and we know that he runs toaster well after winning the Maiden Derby. We're also going to have a look at heat number 5. The 8:22 is the 5th heat of the night. We've got Droopy's Aladdin, 5-6. Droopy's Bookham, 9-4. Bigger prices the rest. Now, we both have a strong view on this race, Daryl, because Droopy's Aladdin is our nap. And I thought the draw's going to be perfect. And I remember them saying in the interviews last week, oh, he kept straight and true to the bend. Well, he didn't. He definitely shifted right into the left into the rail. And Droopy's Bookham should give him that space on the inside for me, because I think he's a quicker starter, Droopy's Aladdin.
Yeah, look, that's how I see it. I mean, Droopy's Bookham is capable of getting out, but I suppose it's just knowing how good Droopy's Aladdin is, because we forget that he's a July puppy. He's only had, what, half a dozen runs, but, you know, what a terrific start this was, as you say. He's edging over to lane 2 a little bit, isn't he? But, you know, and in behind, you're thinking, Proper Heiress, come on, Proper Heiress, make a move, but doesn't get beaten that far in the end, and I don't think anybody who's, you know, backed Proper Heiress for the Derby anti-post should lose too much sleep. No. Miles clear of the rest. I think he's just come up against one that we just don't know how good he might be.
Well, he's only a puppy, isn't he? So he's only a youngster, Droopy's Aladdin. And, I mean, there was a lot of talk as well, Jason, that Proper Heiress, he's been on the go. He's had to be tip-top for months on end now.
As soon as that race, they pushed out Proper Heiress, and I backed Proper Heiress. Absolutely ridiculous. From what we've seen for Proper Heiress and how we've been, you know, exalted by everything that he's done, you lose one race in the first round of the Derby, the third's nowhere, you're up against a progressive pup who got first run on you, and you shift out the price. I just thought that was ridiculous. But Aladdin, yeah, you can't argue that. That was special.
It certainly was, hoping that he can do the same again this evening. We're going to have a look now at the penultimate heat of the night. This is the 8:57, and we've got a very hot favourite in Droopy's Plunge at 3-1 on, in against Churchfield Sid at 130, who knows how to run through derbies. And I think you have to be on Droopy's Plunge just because of what he did last week. But he doesn't. He's not the most consistent, Droopy's Plunge. Yes, he's speedy, but Churchfield Sid, if Droopy's Plunge falters, he's going to be the one to beat, I think.
Yeah, there's a few ifs and buts, really, I suppose, in the conversation. I mean, Droopy's Plunge has been very consistent in terms of the starting, and look, understandably, bookmakers are very short. What's the record? 8 from 12 here at Toaster. Should clear the 1 without any problems. You can see why he's 1 to 3, but I suppose if you are backing him, you're always conscious of Churchfield Sid, who was one of those trap 6s, by the way, last week, that everyone said, trap 6s, loads won last week because they were all odds on. No, Churchfield Sid wasn't, and New Benny wasn't. A few 6s won that weren't expected to. You never write Sid off.
Never write Sid off, do we?
Absolutely not, and particularly because I might be talking to Jackie later on, and throttle me if I did. I think that would be the biggest cheer of the night if Churchfield Sid wins. It's a later race anyway. There was a huge cheer last week, very popular, as you said. And OK, there might be some big players or people in Ackers, but most people aren't going to be playing freeze on. They'll be backing Churchfield Sid. See, 100. I saw 4 to 1 somewhere today. I went.
And you went
130 with the sponsors. Yeah, I think that could be the biggest cheer of the night if Sid wins.
I agree, because I think he is a TikTok sensation. He's had 1.5 million views on TikTok. Yes, I know.
Wow.
Quite remarkable. That's on the Gone to the Dogs live TikTok page if you want to have a look at it and boost those numbers even more. We've got plenty coming up, though, this evening. We're going to have a look at the naps tonight, though. We've already touched on what we're going with, but both myself and Daryl are in agreement. We're with Droopy's Aladdin, Jason with Lenny's Desire, and Ashley with Faye Point Susie. Jason.
I didn't say that. That's wrong. I'm sorry. That's not right.
Who is your nap, Jason?
I said it to your son, Daryl. It's Dynamic Force is my nap.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I said we'd be napping each way. But there you go. So sorry, I'm sure it was my error. I'll check my text. I'm sure that I sent it incorrectly. But Dynamic Force is actually my nap in the 7:48. 46.
So you know what we need to do now? All back Lenny's Desire, because that usually happens.
Yes.
Happens quite well. Anyway, Ashley's with Faye Point Susie. He's with the bitch that we've seen the puppy of earlier on in the show, and that is Ashley Williams, who will be doing all the social media, turning us into greyhounds, babies, and all of the types of things that he's found on TikTok. So do keep your eyes out for those. If you haven't seen them already, myself and Hobbsy are babies, and so is Ian Fortune at the moment, with more to come, I am sure. So have a bit of a laugh, but don't be drinking at the same time. We are going to be back for 6:45. It'll be myself and Daryl in the studio. Jason's going to be running around with a microphone, and we can't wait to bring you night 1 of round 2.